Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Shadow Stitch, and I like solo running Pokemon Black and White. So last week we took on the game with Virizion, and yeah, Unova just is not the friend to grass types, and not even the legendary status could really do anything to change that. Although, as we bring in the tier list, we do see that it still got a fairly respectable A-tier placement, but still quite a step away from its brothers up there into the S-tier for sure. But overall, I did really enjoy that run. It was probably my favorite of this little group that we've done so far. So go check that out if you haven't already. You can check out all the other Pokemon on here. They all have videos on the channel, so there'll be a playlist linked down below and at the end of the video and on that little iCard thing that popped up. But stick around, because today we're going to be finishing out this little mini-series with Keldeo. So Keldeo is, kind of separate from the Musketeers, but at the same time still part of the group. It is a mythical, so that's kind of cool. It had its own little movie as well, so, it's actually half decent for a Pokemon movie, if I remember right. Not bad. He fights like Kyurem and stuff like that. Pretty neat. But yeah, it's got the water fighting typing, which, there's not very many of those. I could think of Poliwrath, and that's about it off the top of my head. So yeah, let me know down in the comments the other ones. So there's that. The Justified ability is back once again. It raises our attack if we're hit by a dark type move, but we're not going to be able to take advantage of that as well as some of the others, because as we see into the stats, we have only 72 attack. So definitely much lower than all the rest. At least they, Virizion and Cobalion had 90, and, could kind of dip into their, special attack a little bit, especially in the case of Virizion. But for us, we have an incredible 129 special attack, and yeah, we're definitely going to be taking advantage of that today. So yeah, no physical attacks as much as all the others, which is definitely going to be a nice little change of pace. We do still have the same 108 base speed, very solid, and pretty decent defenses with 90 in both and 91 HP. Not bad. So, however, it's going to take a little while for us to get to use that special attack, because we start off with Aqua Jet, which I guess is a little bit of a change from Quick Attack with the other ones, which is cool, and Leer, and then we pick up Double Kick at 7, but we won't pick up our first special move until 13 with Bubble Beam. After that, it's pretty much very similar to all the rest. We get Sacred Sword, our signature move, in a way at level 43, and Swords Dance later on. Work Up for some reason at level 61. I don't know why. That's kind of cool though. But yeah, Keldeo does have a signature move that's called Secret Sword, but that is only available via an event. It's actually a pretty cool move, and it's kind of unfortunate that we can't use it today, but because it is a special fighting type move, and it has like kind of the Psy-Shock effect where it hits it calculates damage using the physical defense as opposed to the special defense. Pretty neat. However, we do have some really decent special attacking TMs. So, of course, we get Scald relatively early, so that's kind of cool. And Surf is our HM, which we're going to pick up anyway, no matter what. So that's kind of nice. We do have Focus Blast if we want to go out of the way. And we do have a couple other physical options like X-Scissor, Poison Jab, Return, Aerial Ace, etc. But I don't know if we're going to be dipping into those as much. But yeah. Overall, though, I think that Keldeo is pretty decent. It lacks a little bit of coverage, but, when you have, this much power behind you with a good special attack stat, it might not matter. So, you see the rules on screen. I'm going to stop rambling. We're going to get on into it, and we're going to see how Keldeo does. As usual, we preload our starter into the run before it even begins. This allows us to change our nature, IVs, all that fun stuff, so we can just get right into things with Keldeo. So we are going to be taking the Oshawott line as, of course, a water type. This is going to give Bianca the Tepig line and Sharon the Superior line. So definitely within the spirit of the game right there. So very interesting that we got Aqua Jet as opposed to Quick Attack like all the others, which means that we're able to easily two-shot that Tepig, but it's going to be a little bit harder for us to get through the Snivy because, of course, it is resisted. However, we don't really have to worry about too much. We can just go for a Leer and just easily get a nice critical hit to speed things along, so that's cool. So as for the nature that we went with this time around, we went with the mild nature. This is going to be a decrease to our defense and an increase to our special attack. I do think that we will be using our physical attack, despite it being kind of on the lower end, sometime throughout this run. So I do want that option, and I don't want to lower my speed just like all the others. So yeah, overall, not too bad. Keldeo, once again, in the slow growth rate, just like all the others. So it hasn't really been holding too many of the other Swords of Justice back, though. So I'm not really expecting it to for Keldeo either. So that's pretty cool. So we're going to get through the rest of this tutorial, just like Terrakion and Keldeo and, you know, pretty much even Virizion. We're not going to struggle very much in this early game, so we're just going to power through N in Accumula Town, Bianca on Route 2, and go straight into Striaton City. Just like all the others except for Terrakion, we're going to be stopping by the back alley and then heading into the Dream Yard to do a little bit of extra training. So this is going to be nice for us to be able to get a few extra levels before we take on the gym. Whereas Terrakion didn't really need to. Honestly, I don't know if Keldeo really needed to either. But, you know, considering that it doesn't have a special attack yet, and it's relying on its kind of subpar physical attack, it might as well. So we're gonna go ahead, finish out the rest of these trainers, grab our monkey, go take care of Sharon in the trainer school. He's no worries whatsoever. None of the trainers in the gym are gonna be a problem, and then it's gonna be time for us to face off with our first gym leader. Alright, let's go Silence. So, of course, we do have double kick now, so we're just going to go straight for that and knock out the little pup, get to level 12. Very nice. And then we're going to go for Leer onto the Pansage, and with that, we are going to be able to easily two-shot that with a double kick, and we get our first gym badge. No worries whatsoever. Right there, we can get on out of here, get contracted by Fennel for a little bit of science work, beat up a couple dudes trying to extort a mana in the Dream Yard, and then head on out of here to Route 3. We're going to skip the preschool training today, go straight to Sharon, because we did pick up our first special move dealing with those grunts in Bubble Beam at level 13. And with it, we can set up a couple workups and then just go to town with Bubble Beam. Despite the resistance from his Snivy, is still a very easy two-hit KO, and of course the Purloin's going to drop as well, so that's pretty nice. And yeah, so after we chase off some Plasma dudes, beat them up in the Wellspring Cave, we're going to grab some HM friends in here, and then head out back towards Route 3, pick up the Glitched Rare Candy, and head into Nacrene City. Once we enter into Nacrene, Sharon's going to hook us up with some Chesto Berries, and we're going to go straight into the Pokemon Center to deposit our team. So you may notice we picked up 2 Roggenrollas because we don't need to be picking up a Tympole today for Surf, because we have a pretty strong water type that's going to be wanting it anyway. So we're going to go over here, talk to this girl, tell her we got an Oshawott, and get a free Mystic Water. This is going to be a fantastic held item for us that boosts the power of our water type moves by 20%. So yeah, that's definitely going to be the go-to held item for us throughout the majority of this playthrough. So that's pretty cool. So we're going to take out N here. He's no worries. We just work up and then just Bubble Beam a couple times. He does have a Tympole that resists that, but we got double kick still just for that. And then we can head straight into the gym after we deal with him. None of the gym trainers are any problem, and we can face off with Lenora. All right, let's do this, Lenora. So she leads off with Herdier. It has Intimidate, lowering our attack, but we don't care about that. We're just going to set up a couple workups and then just start clicking that bubble beam. So we do go up to +3. Thankfully, we don't get crit or anything, so that's nice. And there we go. Watchog goes down. We get to level 18, and we can get out of there. Always nice whenever we have a special attacker, and we don't really have to worry about the Intimidate. But Lenora can still kind of cause some problems sometimes, so that's pretty cool. So anyway, though, we're going to get on out of here, watch the plasma dude steal a skull for some reason, and chase them into Pinwheel Forest. Before we head into the forest, though, we are going to be stopping by here at the Nurse Trainer. This is actually still the first time that we heal. Very impressive that we were actually able to make all of our PP and everything last until this point. So got through 2 gyms and a couple rival battles and all that fun stuff. Very cool. So we pick up that ether behind the fence and then head into the Pinwheel Forest proper. Nothing's going to be a problem here. The grunts are no issue. We do pick up a couple extra trainer battles here, so that's pretty nice. And then we can head on out, cross the Skyra Bridge, and go into Castelia City. As soon as we enter into Castelia, we are going to go up the first side streets, up the first skyscraper, and talk to the dude in here. Then he's going to give us the TM for rest. This is a fantastic option for us to get a nice free heal. And of course, it leads to my favorite strategy of the good old classic Resto Chesto combo. So that's pretty cool, so not too bad. We don't really have too much to worry about, but we in the city itself, but we do have Berg, which has a minor problem for us with Levani. So I'm actually going to go into the battle company, do a little bit of training in here. There's a couple trainers in here that get pretty decent experience, like Ingrid here with her Herdier, so that's pretty nice. And after taking out a couple of trainers, we are going to deal with the plasma dude on the side street and then head straight into the gym. All right, let's go, Berg. So he leads off with the Whirlipede. It's relatively passive, so we are going to start working up. So he does have Screech, can start racking up a lot of damage, especially if the Poison Tail poisons us, which it does right now, but we should be able to very easily set up enough workups. We can go for that good old classic Resto Chesto, and at +5, we can start going to town. Levani comes in, resisted, Bubble Beam, still gets the one shot. Let's go, and all that's left is Dwebble, and that drops as well. Very nice. So there we go. Definitely kind of expected that Levani to be a little bit more of a problem, but you know, whenever we can just set up and get power past it, so not too bad. So we're gonna get on out of here, take care of Bianca on Route 4, heal at the house, deal with Sharon as well, and then we can head straight into Nimbasa City. After chasing off the Plasma Goons back to the amusement park, we get a bike from some old dude, have a quick chat with Bianca, and then we are set free into Nimbasa to go straight into the theme park for our date with N. So yeah, we don't really have to worry about anything. This is actually something that I'm doing a lot more on, especially with these good Pokemon. They can just go straight to N. They don't have to stop by the Pokemon Center. They don't have to really do any other chores, and that's pretty cool. So after our lovely Ferris wheel ride, we are going to take him out. No worries. All of the gym trainers, despite this being electric gym, are no worries whatsoever either. We just have all the power with Mystic Water boosted Bubble Beams to take them out, and then it's going to be time for us to face off with Elisa. Alright, let's go, Elisa. So she does have electric moves, and that's definitely kind of scary, but her AI is also really weird sometimes, and she just goes for Pursuit as we work up. I don't know why, but because of that boost, we have +1 Mystic Water boosted Bubble Beams, and that is enough to one-shot everything on her team, getting us our 4th gym badge. Very nice and clean. So we're gonna get on out of here, meet up with Sharon, beat him up on Route 5, take care of a couple toddlers, and then head into Driftvale City. Once again, Driftfill is pretty short. We're going to grab the PP up in here and then head into the building itself. So in here, though, we do hit a pretty nice little upgrade because once we get done talking to Sharon, we can head over here and grab the TM for Scald. This is a absolutely broken water type move. It has 80 base power, which is already a pretty decent upgrade, but it also has a 30% chance to burn, and this is definitely going to be our go-to move going forward. So we're gonna get on through the rest of this. The plasma dudes in the back, no worries. The gym trainers, of course, in a ground type gym, it's gonna be no worries. So let's just mop up clay real quick. Alright, let's do this. So, leads off with Krokorok. We don't really care. We're going to click Scald. That's going to go down. Gets us to level 33. Very nice. Excadrill, same thing. Drops. Palpitoad. It does not have Water Absorb. That can drop as well. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Let's get on out of here. Buy some of our max repels now that they're available in the shop, and hyper potions. Take care of Bianca on the way out of town and head towards Chargestone Cave. Nothing really interesting happens in the cave, so we're going to skip straight to the end with our fight with N. We don't really actually show this one too often, but I feel like why not this time around. So, Scald, of course, does have that chance to burn, so a chance to get through Sturdy is pretty nice. Don't get it this time. Joltik goes down. Clink will also go down, and then he has the Ferroseed, which does resist water, but it doesn't matter when we're a special attacker. Ferroseed still doesn't have the best special defense, so we're able to take that out with a couple hits. Pretty nice. So, yeah, no worries there whatsoever. Let's get on out of here, head into Mistralton. We chase Skyla to the top of the tower and ring that bell to send her back to the gym. Very nice. And that gives me an opportunity to say, hey, thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching the video. If you haven't already, maybe consider subscribing. I really appreciate it. I do these solo challenge videos at least once a week here in Pokemon Black and White. I've been streaming some Nuzlocke as well. I'm doing kind of like this little series where I'm trying to hardcore Nuzlocke through every vanilla region, so that's pretty cool. So it's not really that hard yet by any means, but you know, it's definitely fun and interesting, I think. So, you know, stop on by for that. I do also have a Discord linked down below, so you feel free to join in there. I've kind of decided that I'm going to be doing my first playthrough runs. I'm not going to be streaming them on YouTube because YouTube for some reason just does not like it when I do that. I think it's definitely just a weird algorithm thing. So yeah, but you know, it is what it is, right? Sometimes we just have to play the game. So yeah, overall though, but yeah, if you want to see me just playing those single first runs, yeah, go check out the Discord. I'll be, you know, putting out a notification whenever I start to do one and all that fun stuff. So anyway though, funny internet number going up makes me feel happy. YouTuber nonsense words. Let's go ahead, face off with Skyla. Alright, let's go, Skyla. So she leads off with a Swoobat. We are just going to go for a workup. It goes for Heart Stamp. So, and it does have a chance of going for Amnesia, which could be potentially really annoying, but overall not too bad. So, 1 Scald is going to knock out the Unpheasant, and 2 is going to knock out the Swanna. So, that's really nice. No worries there whatsoever. We can get on out of here, get our 6th gym badge, and meet up with Sharon at the foot of Twist Mountain. Alright, Sharon, fine, I'll show one of your fights for once. So, we are going to be leading up with Keldeo. We go for workup, we get taunted. I definitely wanted to set up for the 1 workup because, of course, this Servine's going to come in next, and it is going to live and do a ton of damage. But we have plenty enough to hang on, and we can just power through the rest of his team. No worries whatsoever there. So, even Semapour goes down despite the resistance, so that's cool. I'm going to check out Alder's Bionic Legs, get the HM for Surf, which is going to be a fantastic little upgrade for us, and we can move on into Twist Mountain. We are playing in the winter, so I do kind of have to bring up the Winter Twist Mountain once again. As we head in here, we grab an elixir, and then we're going to battle the Excadrill guy to unlock a PP up. So, Winter Twist Mountain is drastically different. One of the routes is completely blocked off, so I've kind of like come up with this other route that's definitely comparable in some regard. So we just go up here and then just go around the other way. However, the items in here that are only available in the winter, there's a rare candy and the TM for substitute that I do ban, because, you know, not every run is going to be done in the winter, and I do think that it honestly is actually a little bit more fun to play without substitute. Substitute's kind of broken, but, you know, I think I'm like the only Gen 5 solo runner that actually doesn't allow substitute, but I'm also the only Gen 5 solo runner that does exclusively Gen 5, pretty much. So mostly I think it would be kind of boring if every single one of my videos was in winter. Let me know what you think about that once again in the comments, but you know, it is what it is. So making our way through the gym right here, we do have to deal with the very annoying enduring Cubchews, but we do have Scald. You can get through them sometimes because Scald has that secondary chance to burn. So yeah, no worries though. We're going to power through the rest of these gym trainers and meet up with Bryson at the top. Say it with me, y'all. Bryson is an absolute joke, and yeah, he's not really going to be changing anytime soon. So we're going to set up a couple workups, go for Surf, and then we're going to reach level 43, where we learn Sacred Sword. So we're definitely going to be taking that, definitely a lot better than what we had earlier. So we are going to be using it immediately onto the Cryogonal as well. It has terrible physical defense. I don't even think it would have lived the Surf anyway, but might as well conserve a little bit of PP. So there we go, 7th gym badge down, and let's head towards Dragon Spiral Tower. Alright, and as we head into Dragon Spiral Tower, it is time for story time once again, and I think we're going to just kind of continue on with the lore of me being an electrician. So just my times on the road and living in the road as an electrician. So yeah, if you don't want to hear an unfiltered stream of consciousness for a few minutes, you know, feel free to skip right ahead. But, you know, I think it's kind of nice to let you guys know my life a little bit. So anyway, so we talked about like how I was only a helper, or, you know, an apprentice for about 6 months. Then I got added on as a foreman because they were impressed with my work and all that fun stuff. So anyway, after that job, I kind of proved myself. I felt like I was doing pretty good. I mostly worked by myself for a while, but then I eventually did get my own helper, and his name was Kenny. So shout outs to Kenny. He is awesome. I love Kenny. He became one of my best friends, period. I love Kenny. He is literally like a brother to me, and I really appreciate him. He actually called me the other day because, of course, I am an adult male and I have a terrible time contacting and keeping in touch with my friends. So there's that. But he gave me a call the other day. We talked for about like an hour or two about absolutely nothing, as you do, you know. And yeah, so that was pretty good. He's doing good and he's awesome. So, but yeah, so Kenny and I worked together for a couple years, and you know, he was like my brother. He was an awesome dude. He learned really quick, and then after a while, I gave him the vouch that he could step up to be his own foreman. So eventually, he became his own foreman, and that's awesome. So very happy that I was able to help him progress the same way that I did. So yeah. However, I was working for this company, and I got called out to go help out one of the older guys. Now, this wasn't Mr. Larry, because, you know, Mr. Larry wouldn't do this. So I got really good at doing controls, so control wiring, so a lot of low voltage stuff. That kind of became my thing. So I was getting called out every now and then to go help out people that weren't as skilled with that kind of thing, and that's cool. So that was my thing. That's what I was known for in the company to do. So I get called out there, And I ended up helping out this guy, and he had a problem with a controller that wasn't acting up. And I go out there and I'm looking at it, and very easily notice, hey, the controller's burnt out. This is super easy. So I pull the guy in there, and I show him, and I'm getting my meter out, and I'm freaking going to show. It's like, hey, this meter, this board is completely burnt out right here. You see, we have nothing here. And he just freaks out on me and goes, oh no, don't touch that, you don't know what you're doing. I just looked him square in the face, and I'm like, dude, I was literally called out here to help you with this stuff. This is what I do. If you don't think I can do my job, then I will pack my shit and I will go home. And yeah, he just blew up on me over that, and I was like, all right, fine, I will pack my shit and I will go home. And that's exactly what I did. And then my boss calls me on the way home and said, hey, you can't do that, and he got all mad at me and everything. And I'm like, you know what, screw this, I'm done with this disrespect. So yeah, I technically got fired, but I pretty much quit. And like right there, it's like, because you're not going to call me out to help somebody that has no idea what they're doing with something that I am damn near an expert at, right? And then get upset at me because they're not going to be doing, they don't know what they're doing, right? So for a while, Kenny was working for this company. Well, he got another job offer at another company, and you know what I did as soon as I got off the phone with my boss? I was like, I hit up my boy Kenny, and he hooked me up with a job with his new company. So I got quit/fired, and then within an hour, I had a job back. So I was cooking. So yeah, and with that company, I of course had to start as just a normal foreman, but eventually I worked myself up to being effectively the second in command of the entire field. The only people that I reported to was my boy Kenny and the big boss of the entire company that just sat in the office and did absolutely nothing anyway. So there's that. But yeah, so thanks to Kenny, I did that, and I basically, sorry about that. I basically just was able to do whatever I wanted. I got to have complete control over my work life and stuff like that. I was still working on the road, so there was that. And a lot of other interesting things happened while I was there. Maybe I can tell you guys the story about the trailer later, but that was a fun one. But yeah, so eventually though, I got really tired of working on the road, as you do. Like I brought up before, working on the road is really exhausting. I saw a hotel room more than my son for the first 3 years of his life, and that's just depressing in its own way. But it paid the bills, and it got me the experience that I had. So well, eventually I got a job here working with Walmart that kept me off the road. I'm home now, and I'm able to, live my life with my family, and I still keep in touch with my boys that worked with me on the road, especially Kenny. And so yeah, he's doing really good. He actually got out of that company as well. He is an engineer now. He is doing things like that. So if this doesn't pan out, I know my boy Kenny always got my back, and I could probably just get a job with him once again if I wanted to. So anyway, yeah, super long story time. Sorry, but I think it's really fun for me to be able to share my some of my life experiences with you. So this one goes out to you, Kenny. We're gonna go ahead, have our little talk with Getsus and get on out of here. So there's that. Not bad. So we're gonna grab a rare candy on our way out of the desert and then head back towards Nakreen City. At Nakreen, we're going to have a quick chat with everybody and get a funny looking rock. Then we're going to get on out of here, pick up one more rare candy in the Pinwheel Forest before we leave, and then head back towards Icarus City, where we have one more fight with Bianca waiting. Alright, Bianca, time for your contractually obligated battle here on Route 8. So, we're going to work up a couple of times, and then we're going to go to town with Surf. So, Surf is really nice. Of course, it's a little bit stronger than Scald, so that's cool. So, Resisted Surf on the Simisage doesn't even matter. Musharna, it's pretty bulky, but definitely not bulky enough, so that's going to drop. And of course, Emboar is going to drop to a single Scald. Might as well mix it up a little bit. So, very cool. So, let's get on out of here. Let's go head into Route 9. As we get into Route 9, we are going to stop by the shopping mall. And of course, we are going to be picking up calciums. So this is something we do with pretty much all special attackers. This is going to be really nice for us because we get a mountain of attack EVs and speed EVs in this game, but not very many special attack EVs. So we are going to be able to use our special attack a lot better now that we have up to 100 attack EVs, which is really nice. So after Getsus does his little speech, we're going to head into the gym. None of the trainers are going to cause us too much trouble, despite us going for a lot of resisted surfs. It's not too bad. We do learn Swords Dance on our way through though, which is pretty nice, and then we can face off with our final gym leader. Alright, let's do this, Iris. So she starts off with the Fracture. It doesn't really do a whole lot, and we're going to just go for Swords Dance. So, yeah, sure, we don't have the best physical attack, but Swords Dance is pretty dang good. So we're going to go to +4, and then go to town with some Sacred Swords, get to level 50 as well, just in time for the Haxorus, which, of course, is going to drop to another Sacred Sword, so that's pretty nice. So there we go. We got our 8th and final gym badge. Let's head out here towards Route 10 to meet up with Sharon for one more time. Alright, let's do this, Sharon, and just like that, we are back to using Workup. So, Swords Dance was nice, but we want to be boosting our special attack. So, we're able to get up to +2 as it just sits there and detects a couple times, so that's a little bit annoying, and Superior comes out. Sacred Sword comes out, and it actually lives, but it just does nothing, so that's pretty cool. And now we can just go to town on the rest of his team. Simipour as well is going to drop, and there we go. We have our final rival battle complete. We get a nice free full heal, and we can head into Victory Road. So we're going to do a little bit of training in here, nothing too crazy, but hopefully have no worries and pop out on the other side pretty quickly. But we have Ace Trader Shanta in our way. This is actually the only mandatory battle in the entire Victory Road. She does have a Whimsicott, does slow us down, and goes for Mega Drain for a little bit of damage. But then Zebstrika comes out and critical hits us with a Spark. So, unfortunately, I did not save. I didn't really see a reason to save, so we have to take a really slow blackout right here. Definitely really annoying. So that was our first blunder of the entire run right here, and yeah, it's just kind of unfortunate that it's right within spitting distance of the league. So we're gonna go ahead and get our blackout here on the second time around. No problem, and we get right through Shanta. We battle a couple extra trainers along the way, and then pop out at the league at level 54. Just like the other swords, we're going to go ahead and spend our rare candies, get up to level 58. So, kind of like Virizion, this isn't really so much for the speed problem that we had with Keldeo and Terrakion. This is more just for extra nice damage on top of that speed thing not being an issue, so that's pretty good. So, first up is going to be Grimsley. Let's do this. Alright, so Grimsley, he does lead off with his Scrafty. It can definitely be a little bit annoying with Sand Attack and stuff like that. Does hit us with one of them, so now we have to deal with -1 accuracy. But yeah, Fake Out flinches us. We go for another Surf. That drops. Bisharp comes out. That drops as well. Is Crocodile going to be able to dodge? No, it's not. And there we go. No problems. Only one miss after the Sand Attack. Can't really say that's too bad, so let's move on. Alright, Marshall's up next. He leads off with his Throw. It does have Bulldoze. That's definitely really annoying. Unfortunately, we don't actually get the roll to one-shot him with Surf. So we do take the speed drop from Bulldoze. That's definitely kind of annoying, but not too bad. We do have Scald for Sturdy on Sock, and we actually get the burn, so we're able to knock that out in one turn, which is nice. Surf on the Conkeldeo drops that in a single hit. Mienshao can outspeed us now, hits us with a jump kick, but it's not enough to take us out, and one Surf is going to finish that off as well, and we can move on to member 3. Caitlin's up next, and she leads off with her Reuniclus. It does have Psychic, of course, but we have the defenses to live 1, and then 1+1 Mystic Water boosted Surf is going to come out and just plow through the rest of her team. Gothitelle goes down. Musharna comes out. That is going to drop, which is pretty nice. And then Sigilif as well is going to go down to a single Surf. So we get to level 60, and that's really solid. Let's go ahead and face our final member. Last but certainly not least, of course, is going to be the waifu Chantal. So she leads off with Kofagrigus. We're going to go for Workup. It does hit us really hard with a Psychic, but that should be all that we need to do. So Chandeler's up next. That's going to drop to another Surf as well. Jellicent does resist water, but that's okay. We're going to two-shot that with Surf. We did have Scald on our moveset just in case we got curse bodied, but with one more for Golurk, that is going to be it. And yeah, there we go. Nice easy league, no problems. Let's go ahead, check on Alder, see how he's dealing with N. N summons his gigantic castle out of the ground somehow, and it's up to us to chase him down through it and take him on because Alder couldn't hack it. So yeah, no problem there. We're going to get on through there, not pick up the rare candy because we have no use for it. We're already at level 60, and then meet the man himself in the throne room. By having a full party, we can deny adding Zekrom to it so we can lead a Reshiram versus Keldeo. So it's kind of like the movie, not really, but we can set up a couple workouts. We get hit hard by an extra sensory, but that's all that we really needed. We go straight for a Surf, and then we're going to just surf our way through the rest of this team. So get to level 61, whatever, and then Zorark's going to drop as well. Same thing with Archeops. And Vanillux, no worries. Surf is just going to go to town on everything. Yeah, you already know. So Kirakas, of course, does have Sturdy, so we have to deal with some healing shenanigans right there. But overall, not too bad. And there we go. N is down. But we do have one final battle after Getsis comes in and throws his little tantrum. It's up to us to take him down. Alright, gets his time. His Kofagrigus leads. It is a massive troll with Toxic and Protect, but of course, we have the good old classic Resto Chesto combo. And there we go. We are able to heal off that poison immediately and just go straight to town. We only need to set up one workup, and that's going to be more than enough for us to power through his entire team with Surf. Hydreigon comes out, but we have a Sacred Sword just for you, so that's going to drop, and then all that's left is a Seismitoad that's going to go down, and a Bisharp that is also going to follow suit. And there we go. We have completed the game with Keldeo, and yep, that time looks fantastic. So yeah, we do end our timer at the end of N's final dialogue once the credit starts. But yeah, this was actually, you know, honestly, I didn't expect Keldeo to do this well. I definitely expected it to maybe be the second best. I don't know, actually, you know, because Cobalion was pretty decent as well. But, you know, that just goes to show you the power of just really strong resisted moves. Just doesn't even matter if it's resisted. Like, if your power is right there, you're good. So, and there we go. We finally end our time here at 1 hour 34 minutes and 5 seconds with only that one blackout in Victory Road. Really unfortunate that I couldn't do another flawless run, but yeah, that's not too bad. So Keldeo was absolutely fantastic. This was also our second mythical behind Victini, and yeah, this was a ton of fun, so for sure. So let's go ahead, wrap up these credits, bring in the tier list, and rank this guy. And there we go, a final in-game time of 3 hours and 58 minutes as we bring in the tier list. Where is he going to land? Right there at 2nd place. Not bad. Good stuff, Keldeo. So, yeah, I'm definitely really looking forward to moving on to other Pokemon. These Swords of Justice were really fun in their own right, of course, but, you know, sometimes, you know, just playing a Pokemon, they're just doing really, really well back to back to back. Does get a little bit boring in a way, you know, but I still enjoyed all these runs nonetheless, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the streams that we did with Speedrunner 0218 and you know, this little video mini series as well. So, however, next week we are going to be back on the struggle bus a little bit because we are going to be playing with Amoonguss. So yeah, definitely been looking forward to this one for sure. I really like Amoonguss. Of course, it is in celebration of Pride Month. Shout outs to all of you out there. I do not partake myself, but I love and support every single one of you. So this one goes out to all of you guys. So stop by next week as we play Amoonguss. But with that, that's going to be it for me today, though, guys. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Like, comment, sub, all that fun stuff. I love you all. Deuces.